The axolotl, a unique salamander, has caught a lot of attention. It's known for its amazing ability to regrow body parts and its interesting evolution. When thinking about the future axolotl appearance, we need to know what we know about their axolotl evolution now. Scientists are looking into what makes axolotls grow and change. They study genetics and the environment to guess how they might look in the future. This helps them predict how these creatures might evolve and change over time. Looking into axolotl evolution helps us understand how genetics, environment, and future axolotl appearance interact. It's a fascinating journey into the future of these unique creatures. The current state of axolotls in 2023 and 2023, axolotls are still fascinating scientists with their amazing traits. These unique salamanders can regrow limbs and have an interesting life cycle. Axolotls have feathery gills and come in many colors. They can be albino, leucistic, or xanthic. This variety comes from genetic differences and their environment. Internal anatomy and physiology. Axolotls have a complex body that helps them live in their natural homes. They can regrow organs and limbs because of their special body cells. Studying their body is key to understanding their evolution and changes. Natural habitats versus captivity. Axolotls come from Mexico, mainly lakes Xochimilco and other waterways. In captivity, they are raised for research and as pets. Their living conditions in captivity are very different from their natural homes. This can affect their health and how they adapt genetically. Conservation status and threats. Axolotls face big threats in the wild, like losing their homes, pollution, and invasive species. Their survival is a big worry. Efforts are being made to protect them and breed them in safe places. Knowing these threats helps predict how they might change in the future. Understanding evolutionary mechanisms in amphibians. It's key to understand how evolution affects amphibians to guess what the future holds for axolotls. Changes in axolotls come from different ways that help them adapt and live. Selection pressures are things in the environment that affect if animals can survive and have babies. For axolotls, these pressures can make them evolve traits that help them in changing environments. Examples from related species, frogs and salamanders, show how evolution leads to different adaptations. Some have become resistant to toxins, while others have changed how they breed because of habitat loss. The role of random mutations. Random mutations create genetic changes that can drive evolution. In axolotls, these changes can bring new traits. These traits might help or hurt their survival based on their environment. Population size effects on evolution. The size of an axolotl population greatly affects its evolution. Smaller groups are more at risk of losing genetic variation. This makes them less adaptable. Evolution of axolotl species is shaped by these factors, leading to complex trends. By studying these, researchers can understand what might happen to axolotl populations in the future. How to predict evolutionary changes in axolotls. To predict how axolotls will evolve, scientists use many techniques. These methods help us see how axolotls might change in the future. They do this by looking at how they adapt to their environment. Computer modeling approaches. Computer modeling is key in predicting axolotl evolution. It uses complex algorithms to simulate different environments. This helps researchers guess how axolotls might change genetically. These models consider genetic variation, selection pressures, and environmental changes. They help forecast how axolotls might evolve. Computer modeling lets scientists test many scenarios. This gives insights into how axolotls might change under different conditions. It's very useful for understanding the effects of climate change on axolotl populations. Comparative analysis studies genetic and phenotypic differences in axolotls from different environments. By looking at these differences, scientists can guess which traits are favored or not. This is key for predicting how axolotls might evolve under changing environmental pressures. For example, studying axolotls in polluted versus clean environments shows how pollution affects their evolution. Axolotls in polluted areas might develop unique adaptations not seen in clean environments. Temperature and climate variables. Temperature and climate are big factors in axolotl evolution. As the world gets warmer, axolotls might adapt to survive in warmer or more variable climates. Researchers study how temperature affects axolotl physiology and development to predict future changes. For instance, warmer temperatures might lead to the evolution of traits that help axolotls handle heat better. They might also change their breeding behaviors to avoid the hottest times. Predator-prey dynamics, the interactions between axolotls and their predators or prey, are crucial for their evolution. Changes in predator populations or the introduction of new predators can drive the evolution of defensive traits in axolotls. On the other hand, changes in axolotl populations can affect the evolution of their predators. Understanding these dynamics is vital for predicting how axolotls will evolve in ecosystems where predator-prey relationships are changing. This knowledge helps in conservation efforts to protect axolotl populations. Axolotl evolution, what they might look like in 100 years. Looking ahead, we wonder how axolotls will change in the next century. Their future look will be influenced by environmental shifts and genetic changes. Several factors could shape axolotl evolution. These include changes in their physical traits. Understanding these changes helps us see what axolotls might look like in the future. One possible change is in their size and shape. Axolotls might grow bigger or smaller to fit their new environments. Skin texture and permeability. Their skin could also change. They might grow thicker or thinner skin to handle different water conditions. Adaptive camouflage development. Axolotl could develop camouflage to hide from predators or sneak up on prey. This might include new skin colors or patterns, UV protection mechanisms. They might also develop ways to protect themselves from UV radiation. This could be due to more UV exposure from environmental changes. These changes show how complex and dynamic axolotl evolution is. By studying these trends, we can understand how axolotls will adapt to their changing world. Respiratory system, adaptations in future. Axolotls' evolutionary pressures may lead to changes in the axolotl's breathing system. This could make their oxygen intake more efficient. As they evolve, their respiratory system will likely see big changes. Future axolotls might have better gas exchange. This could help them live in places with less oxygen. They might develop stronger gills or better blood to carry oxygen. Pollution tolerance. Mechanisms. Axolotls could learn to handle pollutants better. They might develop ways to clean themselves or protect their cells from toxins. This could be key. In polluted areas. Dual respiration capabilities. Future axolotls might be able to breathe both in water and on land. This would let them use different environments. It would be a big change in their evolution. Adaptations to varying oxygen levels. Axolotls might adapt to survive in places with changing oxygen levels. They could change their bodies to handle low oxygen or use high oxygen better. This shows how they adapt to their environment. Locomotion changes, swimming efficiency, and land. Mobility. Future axolotls might show amazing changes in how they move. This is because they need to survive and move well. Their ways of moving could change a lot. Axolotls might get bodies that are better for swimming. They could also get stronger tails. These changes would help them swim faster and easier. Potential for terrestrial movement. It's interesting to think about axolotls moving on land. They live in water now, but they might get legs or other land features. This could help them move on land. Energy efficiency. Improvements. Future axolotls will likely use less energy to move. They might have stronger muscles or better ways to move. This would help them save energy. Speed versus endurance. Trade-offs as axolotls adapt. They might choose between being fast or lasting long. Some might swim fast to avoid predators. Others might swim slowly to find food or travel long distances. The way axolotls move will change because of many things. These include their environment, predators, and competition. Knowing about these changes helps us understand what axolotls might look like and do in the future. Feeding mechanism. Transformations. Looking into the future of axolotls means studying how they might change how they eat. As they adapt to their surroundings, their eating habits could shift. This is due to changes in what they eat and the pressures from their environment. Future axolotls might get better at catching certain types of food. They could change their way of eating or even get new senses to find food easier. This could be through better suction or new ways to sense their surroundings. Dietary diversification. Adaptations. Axolotls might start eating a wider variety of foods. This could happen because of changes in their stomachs or new enzymes. These changes would let them digest different kinds of food. Nutrient extraction efficiency. They could also get better at getting nutrients from their food. Axolotls might grow longer intestines or find ways to absorb nutrients more efficiently. This would help them survive in places where food is scarce. Toxin resistance development. Another change could be becoming less affected by toxins. This would let them eat prey that is harmful to them now. They might develop better ways to get rid of toxins or become less sensitive to them. These changes in how axolotls eat will be key to their future. They will help them play a bigger role in their ecosystems and adapt to new environments. Reproductive strategies in future axolotl populations. The evolution of axolotl reproductive strategies will be influenced by various ecological and genetic factors. Axolotls may adjust their breeding timing to optimize survival rates in changing environments. This adaptation could involve shifting breeding seasons to avoid harsh weather conditions or to synchronize with the availability of food resources. Courtship and mate selection. Evolution future. Axolotl populations may exhibit changes in courtship behaviors or mate selection criteria. These changes could be driven by genetic variations that confer advantages in attracting mates or in reproductive success. Survival rate improvements. Reproductive strategies that enhance survival rates of offspring are likely to become more prevalent. This could involve adaptations that improve egg viability or larval survival in challenging environments. Development, speed adjustments. Axolotls may evolve to develop faster or slower depending on environmental pressures. Faster development could be advantageous in ephemeral habitats, while slower development might be beneficial in more stable environments. In conclusion, the reproductive strategies of future axolotl populations will likely be shaped by a complex interplay of genetic, ecological, and environmental factors. Neoteny versus metamorphosis. Future trends in axolotl evolution might change how neoteny and metamorphosis balance out. This could be due to environmental factors. Neoteny, where axolotls stay in their larval stage as adults, fascinates scientists. Neoteny has many benefits for axolotls. It lets them live in their natural habitats with less competition. Evolutionary. Advantages of neoteny helps axolotls get food better and avoid predators. This trait is crucial for their survival. Scenarios for metamorphosis dominance. If the environment pushes for metamorphosis, axolotls might adapt to become terrestrial adults. This could happen due to habitat changes or more predators. Hormonal. Regulation changes hormones are key in choosing between neoteny and metamorphosis. For example, thyroid hormone changes can start metamorphosis in some axolotls. Environmental triggers changes in water quality or temperature can also affect neoteny and metamorphosis. Knowing these triggers helps predict axolotl evolution changes. Law. Mix of genetic adaptation and environmental pressures will shape axolotl evolution. This could lead to many different outcomes in neoteny and metamorphosis. Comparing axolotl evolution to other amphibians. Looking at the axolotl and other amphibians shows us how they've changed over time. Axolotls, like many amphibians, have special ways to live in their environments, similarities in adaptation mechanisms. Many amphibians, including axolotls, have learned to live in changing places. For example, some frogs and salamanders stay in water like axolotls. They can even reproduce while staying in the water. Divergent evolutionary paths. Even though they share some traits, axolotls have taken a different path. Unlike some salamanders that live on land, axolotls stay in the water. This shows how they've evolved differently. Successful adaptation strategies. Amphibians have found many ways to adapt, like changing how they look or act. Axolotls can even grow back lost limbs. This is something some other salamanders can do too. Applying amphibian evolution models to axolotls. By studying other amphibians, scientists can make models for axolotls. These models help predict how axolotls might change in the future. They take into account things like the environment and genetics, genetic engineering, and human intervention. Genetic engineering's impact on axolotl evolution is a hot topic. It's important to think about how humans might influence their evolution. Genetic. Engineering could help axolotls adapt to new environments. It could introduce genes for disease resistance or better water tolerance. Captive breeding is key for axolotl conservation. It boosts population sizes and genetic diversity. This reduces extinction risks. By choosing the right breeding pairs, we can help them survive better in the wild. Reintroduction, challenges and solutions. Releasing captive bred axolotls into the wild is tough. They need to adapt to natural settings and survive without human help. To solve this, we use pre-release conditioning and monitor their success after release. Ethical considerations, genetic engineering, and axolotl conservation raises ethical questions. It could have benefits, but also risks like harming ecosystems or creating unsuitable animals, potential applications for species. Preservation, genetic engineering, and human help could save axolotl populations. It could make them more adaptable and resilient. This would help ensure their survival for a long time. As we look ahead, we must weigh genetic engineering's benefits against its risks and ethics. This way, we can help axolotls thrive in the future. Predicting axolotl population distribution in 2123 to guess where axolotls will be in 2123. We need to know about climate change, human growth, and cities spreading out. We must look at how axolotl numbers are now to make good guesses. Climate change will change where axolotls live. Warmer temperatures and different rain will mess with water quality and how much water there is. This could move axolotls to places that are better for them. Knowing this is key to figuring out where they'll be and how they'll look in the future. Human development considerations. As humans build more cities and projects, they'll take over natural homes of axolotls. This can destroy their homes and split them up. It will also make axolotls adapt faster to their changing world. Urban environment possibilities. Cities might be good for axolotls in unexpected ways. If cities have green areas and places for conservation, axolotls could live there. Seeing how axolotls adapt to city life will be fascinating. Artificial habitat. Integration. Creating artificial homes like ponds and breeding centers is very important for axolotls. These places can help them survive and even evolve. They offer conditions that are like nature or new challenges for them. Looking at these points helps us guess where axolotls will be in 2123. It shows us how many things work together to shape their future. Visualizing the axolotl of tomorrow, a synthesis of predictions, we've looked at how axolotls might change in the future. This includes their breathing, moving, eating, and how they reproduce. These changes could make them better suited to their environment. The axolotl might become more adaptable to different places. This could lead to them living in more areas. By studying their evolution, we can imagine what they might look like. In the next 100 years, looking ahead to 2123, we see a future for axolotls shaped by many factors. These include genetic changes, environmental shifts, and natural selection. The predictions suggest a thriving yet different species.